This time we'll be installing Nginx as a live stream server on a Windows machine. And I received many questions about that, so I hope this video will answer all your questions, because I can only answer so many questions. Hope you like this video.
Hi YouTube, here's another video on the subject of live streaming. Since I did get so many questions and remarks on my previous video was about live streaming, I decided to make this a new one. But this time we're going to install it on a Windows server system, actually the local host, so the same one on which you are using your OBS on or whatever you use to live stream. It's really pretty easy actually, and if you follow this guide you'll get it up and running in I think maybe 10 minutes, 15 maybe tops. And I hope also that this video will answer all these questions that I've been having through Gmail, through email or Twitter. Many people have been contacting me, and I really like answering all these questions, but I can't always answer all of them, so that's why I decided to do this right here. Especially for people who are not that experienced in using Linux, this might be a very easy and quick setup solution. So let's just get started, shall we? I created, I should say, a GitHub, especially for this purpose. I have a shortcut here, by the way. Let's use that one. This is the address. Of course, I'll include everything that I show in the description below. I'm not sure if it works yet, because I didn't test trial, download and install it all over again to see if everything works. This is actually my test run, so yeah, if I bump into any weird things that I didn't expect, you'll see me find a solution to this at spot on also then. Let's just get started. Let's download this zip file. This folder that's in the zip file, you need to extract it to a location, and if you will follow my guide and everything I do, then we need to unzip it in a folder on your C drive called server, and that's where we'll extract this. But I don't like this folder name, it's way too long, so I'm going to change this to Nginx 1.17. You should also, if you want to follow all the steps in this guide for an easy setup. Let's see what it holds. It holds nginx.exe, of course, a readme file that you should read. Every folder has its readme files that you should read. For example, let's start with this one. PHP. Do you want to have PHP enabled on your web server? If you do, then follow the instructions in the readme file. It's really easy. Just download the full zip file and extract it here, and it should work. The logs folder, well, that should speak for itself. HTML folder is the folder where our web files are placed. So if you open the website / localhost, I mean http:/localhost, then you get to see the first page that is in this folder. In extras, I've included some extras. I'll go through them in a second. The config folder, this file in here is the most important one. This is the one we'll be editing later on. The rest is included, but not even all are used, but that should become apparent if you go through the config file. Let's just do that right now, by the way, why not? So this is the config file. Yeah, let's go through this real quick. Worker processes, leave it to 1. This is the RTMP server block module. It listens on port 1935. It will write its log files here. Record, I disabled this. I commented it, as you can see. Maybe you can look into this yourself. The incoming live stream that will come to the server will be pushed to these locations. This is actually the same machine, localhost. So that's HLS and Dash. I disabled YouTube, I only included it as an example. Since we pushed this to the localhost HLS, this application must exist, so we create it here. And this is what holds the video fragment files that you can show using a web player. Same thing goes for Dash. If you want to push your live stream onwards to YouTube, you do it like this. Use your own stream key, of course. The address might be local for me, so look into it, what it should be in your case. Because I believe this one refers to Amsterdam, but I'm not sure. The HTTP part, so the part that shows all the web server settings, it's all self-explanatory. We run it on port 8050, so not 80, because many people already may have that in use by something else. Server name. Ideally, you should change this to the host name of your your server. So, for example, I don't know, host.domain.com, or maybe a full domain name that you want to use for the website also, www.example.com. If you want to enable certificates later on, and that means that you can open the website through HTTPS, then you'll actually need to set this to a proper host name, and that can also be confirmed later on by Let's Encrypt, but that's not something I'm going into right now. We're going to stick with non-encrypted traffic. If you install PHP, then this part is very important. As you can see, it will pass every PHP request onwards to localhost port 9000. So we need to make sure that's running before we start the web server. And we do this by using this batch file that I included in the main folder, this one, start PHP fcgi. I can show you what it does. This calls for run hidden console.exe that I included and use it to start a PHP CGI instance running on this address. Now I included this running hidden console because you could start this from a command line, but then you will always have this DOS box open in this window that you should not touch, but should not even open. So it's easier to use this tiny little program that I included to put it in the background so that it's running, but you don't get distracted or interfered by it by a window. So yeah, I'm going to save that, of course. You should get this version now also from the GitHub. Nginx, we're going to run it soon. That's by double-clicking it after we've unblocked it, because I'm guessing it's still blocked. We'll run also in the background. We won't get an icon here. We won't get anything in the taskbar. The only thing to see if it's running is to open your task manager and check to see if you see two processes of Nginx running. Now, this file I included, so it's much easier to stop Nginx, because every time you change something in the config files, you have to restart Nginx. So that might be quite a lot of times. So you can just use this batch file, make a copy on your desktop or whatever for easy access to stop Nginx. You should always check if you've used that batch file, if it really killed all the processes. Usually it does. If it doesn't and you see something that doesn't work, maybe the process wasn't stopped, so your new configuration that you just changed in the config file didn't become active yet, so keep that in mind. Test config is easy if you did some changes in your config file and you want to see if it works, and all it does is nginx-t like we do in Linux, and it will show you the results. And also if you have an error, it shows you which line you should look into it. I believe that's almost it. I am going to download this PHP package. At the time of making this URL was working. If it doesn't work for you anymore, then you have to download a newer version. Okay. We're going to unzip this right in this folder. Then in the folder HTML, we have two folders, dash.js and video.js. They're included, but very minimal, and I'm not even sure if they're working like this, so I advise you to download the whole package from the original GitHubs. Let's first do this. Unzip it to the PHP folder. And replace yes, choose yes. So the video.js, I believe I also included a URL. I should rename this to txt, much easier. Yeah, open with, edit plus. Edit plus is awesome, by the way. Get it from this URL, okay. Go to releases, download their latest release, 7.8.1. Go back to their main folder, look for HTTP streaming, this one, because we'll need a file that is in the src folder. To that folder right there, replace, yes. Okay, close that. Now what am I forgetting? Dash, of course. Dash. Download it from here. Also in releases, under releases. And download it. Once it's done, I want to place it in this folder. But keep in mind, this is not the main folder that we'll need. The files we'll need is in the dist folder and only the GS files. Not sure which, not all of them, but I don't want to find out now. I'll just include them all. Replace, yes. Okay, that's it. I think we're done now. All these files are now blocked by Windows. What a lovely feature that is. If we downloaded files from the internet and they can be potentially unsafe, then Windows blocks them. You can unblock them if you go to the properties and doing this one by one, but there's also commands for this available. Let me just grab them real quick. Alright, there they are. I included them in the README file in the main folder. Oh. This is them, but this assumes that you installed it in the same folder as I did. Now I'm guessing that you don't always want to do this, so adjust this according to your situation. We can enter these in PowerShell, which is included in your Windows. Does not exist, really? Oh, I see why. That's a good thing then. So this is what happens if you place the folder on a different location. And you can see that you... Oh, I have some things open, of course. Yeah. Try again. This is the proper folder. Yeah. Let's try it again. Okay, then we don't get an error message. So let's copy the rest of the commands. Yeah. Now all the files should be unblocked and we should not get an error or whether or not we want to execute the file. I think I went through all of this. Let's see, we got PHP. This is good. There's nothing there. This all looks good. Extras. I installed these. You should also. It's Microsoft Visual Studio Redistributables. That's a difficult word. Install them both if you want to be able to run PHP. Run Hidden Console is the program we use, really tiny program, to put PHP instance in the background of, so don't have this window there. RAM disk can be used to set up a RAM disk that you can assign to Nginx, and Nginx will then use it for its caching files. It's pretty neat. You don't have to do it to get it to work, but you can look into it. HTPassword is a really handy, nifty little program that if you are familiar with Linux, you'll probably recognize. It's to create usernames and passwords for web-protected folders. I included them, do whatever you will, but these three are actually required for this to work. Now I already went through my config file. I'm just going to start Nginx right now. No, we're going to test it first, of course. So test the config. I'm old-fashioned. I'm going to do it like this. Oh, there you get a firewall. Yeah, I want to allow it. Of course, it's a web server. Okay, so the configuration file was okay. That means we can start Nginx. I haven't started PHP yet, but that's because I'm not interested in getting that to work right now. I'm more interested in the live streaming part. Now check your task manager and you should see 2 Nginx processes running. These 2. That means it's running. This also means that you can open your localhost. Oh, there it is already. But on port 8050, or what did we choose? I believe 8050, yeah. There you can see it's working. This is the default page. In our HTML folder, it's actually the one called index.nginx. PHP info is to see if PHP works once you've enabled it. The stat .xsl file is required if you want to be able to open this statistics page. Now this doesn't show a lot of interesting stuff right now because we're not live streaming to it yet, but once we do, you'll see who's playing and who's watching and all that. Yeah, let's start live streaming. Why not? Hey, let's see if it accepts my RTMP live stream from OBS. That's going to take a while because it's an older computer that I'm logged in through remote desktop. Stream localhost live and the stream key is stream. Okay, start streaming. Usually if this starts running with, yeah, this is always a good sign. So let's go back to the statistics page, and as you can see there's already 3 streams running. The one that's coming from my OBS is this one. The one that is pushed through Dash is this one, and the one that is pushed through to HLS is this one. Nobody's playing it yet, but I might as well play my own live stream, right? From my same machine that I'm live streaming from. Just for testing purposes, of course. Now there's anything you can do with this setup. Now I've chosen to forward it to HLS and Dash so these video fragment files get made, but you can also choose to record it through Nginx, or push it to YouTube, Twitch, Mixer and Facebook all at the same time, also possible. Keep an eye on your bandwidth if you do. Now let's open the RTMP stream, local host, dash live, dash stream, that's correct. Now this might take a while the first time, but it should start playing the thing we are live streaming right now. Eventually. It says here that it's already playing, so it's still loading here. Like I said, it's a really slow old computer, so if you have a faster, more recent modern computer, this should not take this long. Or maybe I should try again. Close, yeah, that's correct. Anyways, if you have FFmpeg installed on your Windows machine also, then there's even more things you can do. You can use FFmpeg to pull a video feed from a static IP camera, for example, in your house, or maybe start a VOD file. That means you have a MP3 or MP4 file located on your hard drive and you want to start playing that. You can do that. You can even include subtitles on the fly, so once it's happening. It's kind of difficult, but it's all possible with FFmpeg. So you could, of course, download FFmpeg from here and also put it in the server folder. And once you did that, you should really Google to see what the possibilities are, because they're truly endless. Did it download? Yep, it did. I keep waiting for it to ask me where to save the file, but I'm gonna place it in the server folder. Now keep in mind, if you want to use FFmpeg from the command line from anywhere on your system, you need to add it to the path. And we do this like this. Copy the location where the exe files are, ffmpeg.exe, and then go to your computer's properties, advanced system settings, and then environmental variables. Search for path in the lower part here. There. Add a new one. Like you see, I already did this, but it's the same address. Now, after restarting your computer, very important, you can open the command prompt like this. Doesn't matter what folder you are, you can there type ffmpeg and it starts. It will accept everything that you type after this command, because just typing ffmpeg doesn't get you anywhere. Maybe I can show this as an example, by the way. Do I have a video file near here? I think I copied one. Yeah, like for example, PC building. Let's go to this folder, /temp. This is where it holds my video file. I'll stop OBS for now. Try me. Like for example, this command. It's an example of what you can do with ffmpeg. So I'm starting ffmpeg. I'm saying this is the input file, which is in the same folder. It's called pcbuilding.mp4. It's something I captured earlier. And I'm going to copy that to an FLV live stream at the local host under this sub address, or how to say that. Okay, and that doesn't work. PC building usage file. Really? Oh, that's better. I was in the same folder already, so I had to change it like that. But as you can see here, it's live streaming now. 100. That's a lot of frames per second. Oh no, that's the total frame. Okay. Don't interact with your mouse or it will stop. Now we should see. Oh, this still wasn't showing up. Weird. What was the address again? Live vault. Play that on then. Hopefully this one does start playing. Because else I might have to conclude that this setup doesn't work and have to start all over again. But I see that it's still loading, so... Ah, there you go. Yeah, this is the video I just started with the ffmpeg command. That's just one example. Now let's stop this encoding. There, I just showed you. It's a great example. Now I edit this video so this part comes before I finish the other part. Very complicated stuff. But what I realized is that I never showed you guys that the live streaming also works as it should. Because I kind of skipped over that. So I'm just going to push that little part in right here. Look, live stream. How much bandwidth? Ah, that should be okay. Should work. Start streaming. Does show up here. So, oh, I just recalled something. Remembered something. I didn't even show you guys that the HLS and the Dash streams get created and how that works. So I'm live streaming now. So that means the Nginx server receives an incoming RTMP stream. What it does with this is, let's go to the temp folder here. Dash temp. As you can see, it creates a folder automatically that resembles the stream key you used. And in there you see several video files and a index file. Same thing goes for Dash or HLS. Creates the stream key folder name and several files and an index.m3u8. You can open this one manually and then it starts playing, or I can show you what's in them, like this. You see, this is just an index file, and it refers to these 1, 0, and 2.ts files. And this is what is actually used when you open the video stream through a web player like VideoGS. And that's also something I haven't shown you guys yet. So let's close all this up. Let's open a browser. And what did I call these files again? Hold on, let me check. It's in the HTML folder and then index. Yeah, that's it. Index the HLS. So this should now show a player, and if you press play, yeah, we see our live stream. So this is great because that can be used to show the live stream on any website if you use this HLS system. For Dash, it goes the same. So I think this concludes our video. Maybe I'll stop recording right here and get back to the part that I recorded before this, but I'm going to play this now and all so complicated. I think we're done here. I showed you guys how to download and get Nginx running within no time. And what to do with it now is up to you. Choose what your goals are, what you want to accomplish in this. Now you have the tools to make it so. So hopefully this answered some of your questions that you had earlier. And for other people, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget that. And subscribe even, because I'm Actually, I decided to create more videos on the subject live streaming because I noticed there's a public for it and people who are really interested in it, and it's also something that I'm really interested in. So that's why I want to see where it can go. Because I noticed that the more I dive into this, the more I learn and the more I see also, and the more I even want to learn. So if you want to join me on that adventure, make sure you subscribe. And see you next time. Bye bye now.